So today's lesson is entitled Faster Than Imagined. Faster than imagined. And of course, what we know is that this truth that we teach here, whether it's me teaching it or any other teacher teaching it, is the same truth. That there's one truth that belongs to all people everywhere. And of course, I like to help you. I like to support you on finding out that which is the truth within you. Because Dr. Holmes says, Ernest Holmes, the great philosopher from the last century, he says there's a part of us that knows and knows that it knows, right? And when we get to those places in our lives, those moments when we just know and know that we know, then it's already done. The work is already done. Now, Jesus said it a little bit differently. Jesus says, his line was, let me give it to you exactly. Jesus' line is, you will all things, whatever you ask in prayer, believing, you will receive. So the line that we use all the time is, it's done unto you as you believe. That Jesus says, it is done unto you as you believe. He didn't really say that. He said this. He says, and all things, whatever you ask in prayer, believing, you will receive. Right? Whatever you ask in prayer, believing, you will receive. So there's a moment when he says, before you ask, the Father will have answered. Before you ask, the Father will have answered. So now we know that Father term became a patriarchal term, meaning as if God was a male. God is not a male and God is not a female. God is the one, and the one is he, she. In fact, if you look at the Old Testament, the very first book of the Bible in Genesis, it says God made man, he, she, in his image and likeness. So somehow the Nicene Council missed, they took all the feminine out, but they missed the very first book. Right? And the very first book reminds us that we are made he, she. And so if you think of the symbol of the yin and yang, can you all get the symbol of the yin and yang in your mind? You know that symbol of the yin and yang? Now, that symbol is usually black and white, right? But it's not a static thing, it's moving, right? So the yin and the yang are in constant dance with each other, constantly creating. So if you think about it, if you are in creation and you're having this thought, or you're beginning to get a thought, right, about what I'd like, or what my desire would be, or what I'd like to step into, and then you think, well, I'm going to turn to God and tell God this thought. But where was God when you were thinking about the thought? God was right there when you were thinking. So before you even tell God to turn to God and say, I've been thinking, God's well aware that you've been thinking. Hence the line, before you ask, it will be answered. Now, you might remember I brought up on Easter Sunday, I thought it was so appropriate, I brought up saliva on Easter Sunday. Right? Now, why did I bring up saliva on Easter Sunday? The answer is because inside your very body, now, how many have done the DNA test so far? We have... we're just sitting out there with my porch and my great aunt, my wife's great aunt and her sister. Last night we're all talking about we got to get the DNA test. And my wife's 84-year-old aunt has already done it, right? So what do we find out in that saliva is all kinds, your whole history is right there in every cell of your body. Your whole history, who your parents were, what your tendencies are, what you like, why you don't like, it's already in there, but you didn't know that. And nobody really knew that until the last 15 years, that in your saliva was everything, right? Well, then your saliva also, now what about this thing called your body, right? Now, we talk about this all the time. Today, I am christening both of my babyest grandchildren. Henry Morgan Moses and Christian Morgan Roberts are being baptized by me today. Now, I'm going to read to you some of the lines of that service. But the idea of a christening service is the announcement that we already know you're in God, right? The announcement that the parents already know that you're in God, that you came from the light, that you belong to the light, that you're one with the light. And all it takes to set that light free is the recognition of it. Let me say that again. All it takes to set the light free is the recognition of it. So turn to somebody and say, I see the light in you. I see the light in you. Do you see the light in that person? Do you open your eyes and see the light in the person? Do you see the light in that person? Because as soon as you do that, faster than you have imagined, you have set that awakening in motion for that soul. You have already joined with God in that awakening which God has already ordained for you. But my recognizing it brings it forth. What do you call that in the Christian language? Quickens it. Right? Well, think of oatmeal. You ever make oatmeal? Right? You put the water in there and you start to cook, and pretty soon it quickens. It looks like oatmeal, right? It goes from the powder or the flakes to whoop, it quickened, and now it looks like oatmeal. Yes? Well, that's what's happening with us, but it's happening faster than you've imagined, and nobody imagined. Because according to the way science believes things today, and the way that we teach it is the way that Albert Einstein found it, and that was already 100 plus years ago, right? That he said there's nothing faster than light. But spit seems to know something faster than light, because the spit can be here and it knows what you're doing over there. How does spit know that? Right? How do it know? How does it know that? Right? Well, because we're looking at a principle and we only understand it partially. As I said to the other day, if you have not sat in somebody's Tesla or gone to a dealer and sat in a Tesla, you got to go sit in a Tesla. And just have somebody turn it on. Just make it talk to you. Do something. Because you get in the car, you say just like you do in Star Trek, "Hello, car?" And the car says, "Hello. Would you start, please? Do you have the right key fob?" Right? It asks you questions, right? Now, then lights go on, and displays go on, and cameras are going on, and signals are going up to satellites, and it knows where you are, and knows what's around you, and it's taking pictures. It can drive without you touching it. Now, that's all happening because Ben Franklin followed that urge in caveman to go, what is that power up in the sky? And could you use it? And we are so far along that our best use of it now is showing up in that kind of technology. That car company sells 100 times less cars than any other major car company in the world, and is still the biggest and most profitable car company in the world right now. Because they're looking at that idea of electricity and going, we could take it further. You could do more with electricity. Whoa. And now we're beginning to see, we have not at all explored what you can do with electricity. Right? We have now know, the physicists now know that the electrons, two electrons, can seem to go to the same place on different sides of the world at the same time. Well, that's a hell of a lot faster than the speed of light. So we don't know. But what we do know is we're immersed in the light, and that we belong to the light, and we are one with the light, right? And that recognition of it is what brings more of that light to you. So, let me simplify this. How's your life going? How's your life going? So I've been telling you, you want to know what Dr. Harry is going to do when he finishes his 11, this today will be something like my 494th Sunday talk here. That's a lot of talking. Right? And why? Why? How can you talk that long about the same thing? Oh, because that same thing is spiraling and revealing itself, and that's why I love a simple spirituality. A really simple spirituality. You're born to have fun living. Now we go to Teilhard de Chardin. Same era, almost the same era as Dr. Holmes. Same era, Catholic monk and priest. Teilhard de Chardin says, joy is the infallible sign of the presence of God. So you know when you're laughing. Don't you know when you're laughing? When real joy is moving through you, that God is right there. Don't you know that? That's the sign that it can't be this much fun unless God is right here. Joy is the infallible sign of the presence of God. Oh, you're born to have fun living. Well, if joy is the infallible sign, shouldn't you purpose yourself to have some fun? If joy is the presence of God, wouldn't it make sense if I want to head toward joy that in the first person I say, I should have some fun today? How many of you prayed that this morning when you woke up? There you go, good. I want to have fun living. Now, but again, we talked about the whole message of Easter was the fun in the next step, because all the fun comes from the next step. No, really, trust me on this. Fun comes from the next step, because the next step is to constantly commune with the presence that's within and around you. Last week, the board did a little ceremony for me. It was very, very nice of them, and people said very nice things to me about how they have taken ideas that they got, which I, as the teacher, put out. Teachers put out ideas. That's what teachers do. They can't make you take the idea. They can just put out the idea. But you would certainly hope, if the idea is more life-giving, that somebody would take the idea. So if you take the idea, and you've taken the idea, for example, when I'm walking around the market looking for things, I'm talking to God all the time. Now, people walking by me think I'm talking to myself. Well, they're kind of right. Right? But you see, that joy is in the communing and having everything come back to you in the divine. I was on the boat on Friday afternoon and Saturday morning, and I must have said to God, "It is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. Oh, God, this is so beautiful." I must have said it hundreds and hundreds of times just in 12 or 14 hours. But I sat on my porch last week and walked around my house and cleaned up yards and took care of dog poop and did all of that stuff. And every breath was, "Oh, God, this is so beautiful." Do you think God ever gets tired of being told how beautiful it is? As if God doesn't know? No. God loves to share God with you. That's why God created you, in order to share itself with you. Let's have a marriage. Let's be together. You're my child. Let's have intimate life together. And isn't there joy in your life, in the intimate life? When you get stuck in your own stuff, it's not joyful. When you're communing with the infinite, then it's joyful. Yes? Oh, God. And where is the holy breath? Ask yourself, where's the holy breath? Everybody take one. Now, isn't that incredible? The holy breath. So, well, what do you mean, what holy breath? Well, it's not holy until you take it. Because our teaching says demonstration is the only authority. Your belief only works if it's working in your life. So if you don't know how to take a holy breath, or you don't know the breath that's here is holy, you don't know that you're taking a holy breath. But if you know that every breath is holy, we go back to mommies, right? You don't see mommies sitting around when they're pregnant going, today's a kidney day. I can't talk to anybody. I'm making kidneys. I'm working on kidneys today. Or wait, I have to read and do math all day today because I'm working on brain for my baby. Right? It doesn't work that way, right? Mommies do not know how to make babies. The divine feminine sure does. But mommies don't. The divine feminine knows how, right? So we allow the divine feminine, we the women who are birthing children, allow the divine feminine to work within them to create this miracle, yes? But you don't know how to do it. Well, you don't know how to do radiant, vibrant, dynamic health either. And you don't know how to do spleen and kidney and bowels and functions of the body, and you don't know how to regulate flow, and you don't know how to make neurons fire in your brain. You don't know how to do any of that. But you use it, and you do it all the time, and you take it for granted, don't you? Oh, well then, this holy moment is you're using things that are beyond your understanding all the time. Well, so if you're just organically simply using things that are beyond your understanding all the time, wouldn't it be good to be a little bit in awe? Don't you think it'd be a little good to be a little bit in awe? I don't know how this is working, my love, but it's another day and I'm here. Like last night, you went to bed, right? You went to bed and you woke up. And you woke up and you were still you. Isn't that a freaking miracle? You don't know where you went. You went to sleep, wherever that was. And you came back, and you're you. But you don't know where you go when you go to sleep. You don't know what your body's doing. You don't know how to make it do that. But it does all of that. So you're using life all the time. And life is always bigger than you are all the time. And life is always more miraculous than you have seen all the time. But what if you begin to live that way? Sitting out on the porch, go, gee, I think, because we don't allow this word in my household. We have never allowed it in my household. Unfortunately, now my children don't allow it in their households. The word we do not allow in our household is boredom. No one's allowed to be bored. in an infinite universe filled with infinite possibilities. There's no room for boredom. Somebody went to sleep if you're bored. Do you follow? Because you could take a holy breath. If you were really bored, take a holy breath and ask yourself, what's in that holy breath? How big is that holy breath? How do I have that holy breath? Where did I get it? How come I can do that? Wow. Right away, you're in touch with the divine because you have an opportunity every day. So the joy is to have fun living, to go out and make it beautiful. One of the jokes I say all the time to people is when we go someplace pretty is, shouldn't we go someplace pretty next time? Right? To always be aiming towards something really beautiful, something that you haven't seen before, opening your eyes, because life will not be magical to you until you're magical with it. Oh, wow. So I need to get out of my doldrums, whatever my doldrums are, or my stuckness. Well, then turn up the magic, because magic won't happen until you're magical with life back. And then when you start being magical with life back, all kinds of things happen. Lizards start to talk to you. Squirrels come around. Hummingbirds go crazy. Hawks go flying. Wind blows and breezes blow. Smells come. It's just what happens when you become magical with life and you say, God, today is your day. Today I would like to be something more than I've been before. And as soon as you turn to God, even before you turn, faster than you've imagined, God has already said yes. Woo! I told the group on Thursday, I'm driving in on the freeway on the 101. You might notice it's kind of a crowded freeway. I'm on the 101, the window is closed, the radio is on. I'm in bumper-to-bumper traffic. And I can still hear the birds singing up the trees up there. What the heck? They don't know that it's rush hour and it's miserable. They have no clue. Right? Through all of that joy of life is trying to express itself all the time. Faster than imagined. If you will know that God is responding to you faster than you can imagine and way faster than the speed of light. Sets in these mechanisms of creation that make the body look like it's simple. One breath, so many miracles are happening in your body, right? One breath, so much is happening in assimilation, circulation, and elimination. One breath, so many millions and billions of cells are functioning in harmony and finding out their right way to be. One turn toward the divine pattern and a new refreshing energy is trying to enter in. One Om Shanti in the midst of chaos, and changes happen everywhere. Not only in your body, but in the room, in the experience. Faster than you have imagined, and more powerful than you have imagined, is the action of creativity and creation in, as, and through you all the time. All the time. Oh, now. So now there's an idea in science, this is all science fiction-y stuff. They say, well, they think that it's a spiral, and a black hole will take all the energy of the spiral, but now they think what happens is it creates another spiral out the other end. I don't know if that's true or not true, but isn't that interesting? Wouldn't you like to know how the whole cosmos works? Wouldn't you like to know how galaxies intertwine and dimensions all connect together? And wouldn't you like to know what your brother Jesus is doing right now? And wouldn't you like to know what kind of glory Nelson Mandela is experiencing right now in his new life, in his new dimension of understanding? Whoa. But if you don't ask and seek and knock, if you don't turn your imagination, this mechanism that runs the whole cosmos according to you, it doesn't respond because you gave it nothing to respond to. Where's your bird wanting to sing the song of life even if it doesn't know the verses? Where is that song wanting to come out? Because as soon as you can begin to imagine yourself as the bluebird of happiness, then all of a sudden that kind of happiness will come to you. As soon as you want to imagine yourself as the kind of mystic who gazes at the glory of God and listens to its senses and then says, how do I find this holy breath now? Because the moment you do, all of creation has instantly begun to respond to you. But the problem is, if you go, I'm happy today and I'm sad tomorrow, then you get happy today and sad tomorrow and happy today and sad tomorrow and you get a mix of life that looks like boredom or doldrums or stuckness. And it's all that happened was you imagined yourself great and you imagined yourself miserable. You take those two things together, you're going to get something in between. Yes? Well, so stop doing that. Just don't do that anymore, right? I'm just going to imagine myself as what God has already imagined me to be. The full potential of the living God as me. And the discovery that I will find out that everything that I thought was out there is in here. Well, I want to see it, know it, understand it, embody it, live it, and I want to have fun doing it. Now that's good. So to me, that's sound spiritual advice. Have fun living. Constantly commune with this presence that is within and around you. And grow. But grow into what? What do you want to grow into? Don't you want to grow into a soul that knows about the dimensions of life? Don't you want to grow into a soul that can freely move anywhere in the cosmos simply because you think about it? Don't you want to be the kind of soul who can simply look at someone and create healing? Whoa. But you have to ask and seek and knock. And you have to know that it's responding to your imagination all the time. So what does that mean? Well, to use the Master's lesson, my burden is easy. My yoke is light. What it means is, what do you want? What do you want? You can't operate the mechanism unless you imagine what you want. It'll happen faster than imagination, but it won't happen if you don't imagine it. You got to get in the game. What are you imagining for yourself? And what are you believing is the truth of this I am that I am? This glorious creation that you're still discovering. Part of my prayer when I walk in the ritual is I turn, I like the four directions, I do all that stuff, Native American kind of stuff. But then I say, perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. I am Harry Morgan Moses. Right? So Reverend Trish would say, perfect woman, perfect God, perfect being. I am Tricia Klink. And that's the linking to that perfection that already is. But you're the link maker because God cannot make you wake up. You have to wake up to your true and eternal nature. Yes? And so today, in this ceremony, this is the way the words read. And and I'm so grateful that my children asked for this. Something within them knows that they know that it's not the ritual itself. It doesn't matter which church or temple or synagogue or mosque you do the ceremony in. What matters is that you recognize the infinite potential of that child. That you honor the infinite potential of that child because that honoring wakes it up in the child. Yes? It wakes it up. So the ceremony reads, the christening is the recognition of the infinite power of spirit in each child. The seed of perfection is implanted in every child and waits only their recognition for the outpouring of truth and the complete expression of good in their lives. It awaits only our recognition for the complete expression of good in our lives. Is it overindulgent to ask God to give me some fun today? Can I use up the amount of fun God has available? Is there a limited amount of joy to be had in the cosmos? Or do you not think that that which causes the birds to sing is already that joyful, is already that loved, is already that empowered? It's already there. It's already there. But we have to awaken it. And as soon as we do, it's happening so much faster than all of humanity has ever imagined. one soul turned toward the light is setting in mechanisms and probabilities and algorithms that are so complicated and so far beyond our imagination, yet they're happening directly from us all the time. Wow. Johnny Coleman, the great teacher, she used to ask, do you think that's too much? Do you think it's too much to ask God to have fun all the time? Do you think it's too much to ask God that I could be in tune to beauty all the time? Do you think it's too much to ask God to be with me all the time? Or has God already said, I am already that? Do you think I'm asking too much of you? I am already that. Oh, and you are born in the image and likeness of all that I am. And it is my pleasure to give you the kingdom. Whoa. So imagine wealth beyond wealth, right? Wealth is a state of consciousness. And Rocio tells me today in Mexico is Children's Day. And by right of consciousness, I'm baptizing my youngest grandbabies. Wow, it's around you all the time. It's responding to you all the time. It's willing to love you up all the time. And it's willing to reveal the glory of who you are, that you may see it again and again and again and again. For every moment you see it, God sees it with you. Oh, it's faster than you've imagined. And now it's time to take the gift and to turn away from the doldrums, because you don't have the time, you don't want the time to give the law permission to create doldrums in your life. Not when you're the glory of God, not when you're the presence of the living one, not when the Buddha is you and the Christ is you and it's happening in you now. Oh boy, it's time to let go of all of that and step into the glory of who we really are. And as you do so, you are stepping into something that is responding to you so fast that it has already been accomplished, and all you had to do was turn and ask. And then you have to open your eyes and look. So the end of the lesson is faster than your imagination, is turn and ask, and open your eyes and look. Behold, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So wherever you are in your journey, whether you're facing the most difficult trials you've ever faced, or whether you're looking at a brighter and more wonderful future than you've ever known before, everything is going to work out just fine. And I invite you to think on these things as together we explore the possibilities. Namaste. Thank you. Bless you, bless you. Thank you, thank you. Yay.